Hi, thanks for joining us today. I'm Janu, a product marketer with Zoho CRM, and I'm hosting this webinar. Can you all let me know if you can hear me? All right. So I'd like to welcome you all to the second webinar of the PhoneBridge series. Before we proceed, here's some quick context of what Zoho PhoneBridge is. PhoneBridge is the only platform by which cloud telephony providers can integrate with and become a part of the Zoho suite of products. Right now, we have partnered with over 40 providers around the world to bring their services to Zoho users. These services include making calls from within Zoho applications, automatic call logging, contextual pop ups during an incoming call, viewing insightful call reports, etc. One of Zoho's premium telephony partners is OzoneTel, with whom we have collaborated to bring this webinar to you. You'll now hear from John Mark Bantock, one of Zoho's implementation partners, and he'll take you through an extremely educational session. Over to you, John.
Hi, folks. John Mark here with Catalyst Group. I'm the US implementation partner for Zonatel, as well as a premium Zoho CRM consulting partner. Today's webinar is going to focus on integrating telephony with your Zoho CRM and using it to improve your sales workflows. On this call today is myself, as I mentioned, John Mark. We are a full service software development firm and consulting partner, so we specialize in helping firms really take advantage of the best software out there. Of course, this webinar is focusing on Zonatel Cuckoo's platform, as well as Zoho CRM, two of the more prominent softwares that fit a lot of our clients' use cases. On the call as well from Zonatel side is Prashant. He's the VP of Sales and Solutions for Zonatel Communications. So once we get into the engineering phase of your implementation and setting up the software for your use cases, he'll be involved in making sure that everything on the telephony side meets your needs. A little bit of housekeeping here as we get things started. The audio is available both through dial-in and through your computer. You will be muted. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the GoToWebinar toolbar, and we'll be able to respond to you via chat. We also welcome the opportunity to schedule follow-up one-on-one demos to make sure that we're addressing all of your questions and giving you a demo around your unique use cases. So the agenda for today, we're really going to focus on 6 of the primary benefits for integrating telephony with your CRM. The first one is expediting your web lead management, basically taking a web lead and getting a hold of that lead to qualify them into a prospect to bring them into the sales funnel. 2, systematically following up with email campaigns. Generally, if you are using CRM and email campaigns effectively, you'll be putting your leads onto a drip campaign. We're going to show you some unique and pretty slick workflows for following up with folks that click on campaigns. Thirdly, we're going to make sure that you never miss any leads, show you how you can create email notifications for missed calls and follow up with them efficiently. We're going to show you how to manage sales reps on the go, making sure that we are capturing all the calls that they're making out in the field. We're also going to make sure that we are providing a lot of continuity to our customers through sticky agents, making sure that if someone calls back, that they get connected with the same agent that they were originally on the line with. And then finally, we're going to address some outbound IVR campaigns, as well as bulk text messages. So why sales automation? At the end of the day, we really want to maximize conversions. And in this day and age, it has to be done by multiple channels, and getting an immediate response from those seeking our solutions is the best way to do that. Obviously, this is going to lead to a better return on investment for our lead spend so that we can effectively measure exactly what kind of response rates we're getting from different campaigns and making sure that we're getting the most out of those budgets. We're also going to want to standardize these processes for lead engagement so that we can effectively manage which channels are performing best, or if there are outstanding variables like agent changes that may be affecting our lead channels. We also want to make sure that we are designing our business rules so that we can effectively make sure that we're getting the most out of our marketing funnel. So scheduling calls to match our call times with the client's time zones. We want to automate reminders to follow up with folks that we couldn't get a hold of on the first day that they reached out to us. And we also want to make sure that we're making available as much information to the agents as possible to ensure that they are addressing all of our lead questions and making sure that they are meeting them where they came in. You know, if you have a customer that's interested in a particular product line, we want to be able to leverage Zoho's sales IQ data to see what web pages they were on so that we can lead the conversation in line with what they were interested in, as opposed to restarting a lot of that discovery phase, since we already know a lot of that information. And then, of course, we want to measure our churn rate to see exactly how effective our different lead channels are, agents are, to come up with some KPIs to effectively measure all the variables in our marketing campaign. And finally, obviously, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to our leads through as many channels as possible. These days, we all communicate through multiple channels, and we want to make sure that we are meeting our clients where they prefer to be communicated to. So let's dive into some automation, creating easy process flows that guarantee results. You'll see some slides later on in the webinar that really speak to some of the gains that can be made by effectively setting up your marketing funnel. It's extremely important that we reach out to leads within a few minutes of them submitting web forms. Statistics have shown that this has boosted conversion by up to 22-fold, as opposed to waiting even hours or in many cases days to get in touch with a lead. In the now economy, obviously everyone wants to get in touch with the services they want immediately, and they oftentimes reaching out to both your company and your competition at the same time, and whoever gets in touch with them first often gets the business. We're also going to want to make sure that we are immediately sending email thank yous for lead submissions, and then effectively following up with those emails with an automated call response to make sure, once again, that we are reaching them as proactively as possible. Third item here is that we want to make sure that we are, in fact, capturing all leads. And it's very easy to skip over missed calls. If you go through a busy period in the day, you may not easily get back to every one of those missed leads. So we want to make sure that we're capturing all of those missed calls, assigning them to agents, and following up with them as soon as possible. As I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that we're giving reps the contextual information that's going to allow them to make better conversions, showing them exactly which pages that lead was on the website and what they may have expressed interest in. We're also going to want to make sure that we have some workflows in place that automate reminder calls and texts, so that if we don't reach them immediately, we're not just calling them once and letting them sit there for a couple of days. We want to have a good curated nurture campaign that is omni-channel, setting up both emails, text messages, and phone calls to make sure that we getting in touch with that lead, qualifying them as soon as possible to move them into the sales funnel. Now, finally, when we are looking at integrating multiple technologies, we really want to reduce cognitive load and fatigue on our agents. Integrating telephony into Zoho is going to do just that. It's going to allow us to keep the agents working in one platform, which is going to make for faster uptime in training new reps, less cognitive load in switching applications, less mistakes, making sure that all of the analytics on one platform for easy reporting, and bringing in all the tools so that we can really leverage the data out of the CRM to drive a lot of our dialer campaigns. So let's dive into item number one, following up on email campaigns. Oftentimes, when we get leads in, we're going to want to immediately put them onto an email nurture campaign. This is really important to make sure that we are acknowledging their initial interest in our product or service, and making sure that we are providing them with additional contact details of the agent that's perhaps assigned to their lead, giving them some personal contact information, and letting them know that they are people behind your company and not just an automated service. So oftentimes we help clients set up this email nurture campaign to proactively reach out to that lead. And then we want to set up our reporting in a way that we can make sure that we are immediately reaching out to those folks who are engaging in those email campaigns. Now, if you're lucky, your email open rate is as high as 24%, but depending on exactly what kind of data you're going after and how you're setting up your lead capturing, it may be as low as 3%. So you may, at the end of the day, have large lead lists that you want to build over time and send out these email nurture campaigns. As someone, so to speak, puts up their hand and expresses interest by engaging with those emails in one way or another, you want to be able to capture that information and then follow up with a phone call to make sure that we are getting the most out of our marketing funnel. So let's take a look at the best way to do that. I'm actually going to hop over into Zoho CRM now, show you guys exactly how the click to call works out of the CRM, and then how you can actually set up reporting through campaigns in Zoho to reflect what emails have been opened in the CRM, and then create some quick lists where you can actually push all of those folks into Azonita's dialer. This will then lead into our progressive dialers or predictive dialers, all of which is powered through Cuckoo's platform. Now, depending on your use case, you may or may not have a need for full progressive or predictive dialing, and the click-to-call campaigns may be efficient enough. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here we are in Zoho CRM. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with the layout. I'm not going to spend too much time on the actual interface within Zoho. Here we are in our leads tab, and we can see that we have this view for all leads. Now, on the settings, it's very easily set up to integrate Cuckoo's platform with Zoho. You'll just go to settings, click on channels, click on telephony, and we can see here that we've connected our Cuckoo account with the CRM. This is going to allow us to have a little icon here to actually click to call directly out of the CRM. So if I were to do a quick search here for my demo lead, we can see that we have the phone number here and a little green icon to click to call. If I click on that, it's going to give a pop-up, and it's going to actually immediately start dialing out through the Cuckoo platform. I'm just going to go ahead and decline this for now. Now, back in the CRM, if I refresh my screen here, we'll see that I have a couple of outbound calls that I've made today, and we can see that all of that call activity is recorded in the CRM. This is obviously very handy for the next time I go to call this lead. I'll be able to go down here to the closed activities and see exactly what conversations I've had or others have had with this particular lead. Now, when it comes to setting up your email campaigns, as many of you who have used Zoho campaigns know, you can actually push certain lead views to campaigns, run an email nurture campaign to those leads, and then have the actual responses or opens, clicks recorded in the CRM from that particular campaign. And that could be pushed to a multi-line field called campaign reports or autoresponder reports, which we'd be happy to help you set up. Now, when you have the reporting set up from Zoho Campaigns, you can actually just set up a customized view. You can see that I've done that here, where we wanted to just set up a quick demo so that the campaign reports contains clicked one. So anyone that has clicked on this particular campaign is going to show up in this list. So here we are on this list, and this is an easy way now to see everyone that's actually opened or clicked on that email. Now, if it's just a one-off, obviously you're not going to need to push this to a dialer. You're simply going to click on that lead, click to call, follow up with them. But what happens if you have a few hundred folks that you need to place a phone call to? This is where Cuckoo's platform becomes really powerful. We can actually select the whole list. So if there were 100 leads in here, we can actually push up to 200 at a time to the Cuckoo dialer. So we can just select all leads in this view, once again, up to 200. And we've added in this button over here where we can do a couple things. We can auto dial, or we can do an IVR blast, which we'll address later. Now, the auto dial, what this does is it actually will invoke a webhook, which will push this particular lead to a corresponding auto dialer campaign in the Cuckoo platform. And let me go over to the actual admin side, and you can see here that I have a couple campaigns set up. We have our Zoho auto dial campaign ready, and if I click into this, you'll see that I have a few numbers that I've pushed from the CRM to this particular campaign. So as the administrator, I can assign certain agents to this particular campaign, and if I'm a large enough organization, I may just have a couple of dedicated marketing reps to doing follow-ups for folks that clicked on a particular campaign. When they log in the morning, they'll be able to set themselves to a ready state. As long as this campaign is set to active, what's going to happen is as soon as they change their status here to ready, the system will actually automatically start dialing out to all of those folks on that particular campaign. So now we've created a very automated workflow where agents don't need to be thinking about what to click or who to follow up with. The system's already dialed it in for them. They just log in the morning, they've been set to the campaign, they know the campaign that they are responding to, and they'll be able to go ahead and qualify those leads and send them through to the sales reps. So now let's jump back in and let's go over some of the ways to expedite your web to lead management. Now, as I mentioned before, responding to leads very quickly is really paramount in today's day and age. We really want to make sure that we are reaching our leads within minutes, and it has a quite dramatic effect on how many of those leads we can actually move into the sales funnel. So here you can see some statistics that we've gathered that only about 7% of companies actually respond within 5 minutes, and many take quite a bit longer than that. Now we can see here that if we respond within minutes, we actually have a tenfold increase in our odds of making contact with that lead, and obviously having a better chance at qualifying them. So before you actually go ahead and spend thousands of dollars on marketing and generating leads, you really want to make sure that you have your technology set up in a way that you can actually get a hold of those leads and qualify them immediately. It makes no sense spending all that money on the marketing campaigns if you're not able to meet them right away and make sure that you're getting the most out of that ad spend. Now, there are a couple of different ways that we can go about hitting this 5-minute benchmark here. One of the easiest ways is to simply use Zoho's workflow rules and making sure that you are assigning new leads to reps, sending them an email alert when they have a new lead, and then the agent can simply go through that same process that I showed you to pull up a view of all new leads and then just click to call. Now, we can take that a step further, especially if you are doing some aggressive online advertising through Google or Facebook, and you want to make sure that you're responding to that lead within really seconds of them filling out a web form. We can actually do that automatically. So using Cuckoo's platform and Zoho's webhooks, we can easily write a custom function that when a new lead is submitted, we can actually invoke a webhook that will automatically assign that lead to an available agent and begin making a call for them. The system will actually dial out to that agent first to make sure that they're available. if the agent picks up the phone, it'll immediately connect them to that person that submitted the um, web lead. Now, this is an advanced automation, but it can work really well, especially if you combine your agent list with your Zoho users and have a good scheduling platform. A typical use case may be someone fills out a web form to express interest in a product. The system will be able to look at which agents have a skill or a specialization in that product. We can go ahead and have Zoho assign that lead to that particular agent, and then actually tell your web form who that agent is that that lead has been assigned to, and customize the thank you page on the website to say, oh, thank you, you've been connected with John Mark. You can expect a call from him shortly. If he's not able to reach you, feel free to schedule an appointment with him by clicking on this calendar link. And we can display my particular calendar link on the thank you page. Within that same second, the system has automatically started calling me to see if I'm available. If I am, I answer the phone and I immediately start dialing out to that particular lead. So within a second or two of them filling out that web form, they know that they're going to be getting a call from me, and there I am dialing out to them. So there are a couple of different ways to go about doing this, but it really depends on your agent availability and how proactive you want to be in your follow-up, and if your reps need to have a minute or two to figure out who they're talking to before actually getting on the line with them. So next problem that many of us have is with callbacks. Now, oftentimes we have phone calls that are dropped, and it's incredibly frustrating if you call back to the service and you've already been on the line with an agent for a good 15 minutes and now you get someone else. There's nothing more frustrating than having to re-explain your needs to a new agent or try to get back on the line with the original one. We've solved that problem with Cuckoo's platform. We can actually use a new feature called Sticky Agent, which basically takes a look at that client number, sees the rep that they were originally signed to, and then routes the call back to that rep that handled the original call. Thus making it far less frustrating and far more efficient for everyone to pick up with the same people that were involved on the first call. Now, this can be done on both the sales end as well as the support end through Zoho Desk, and be happy to demo this particular feature on a one-on-one to explore your unique use case and make sure that the demo lines up with what your needs are. So taking a look at missed calls, as you noticed in the CRM, every single call that is made is actually logged in the activity section on that lead or that contact record. Now, if you end up missing a call, you can very easily use Zoho's workflow rules to set up an email notification of that missed call. Let me show you how to do that. Here we are in the CRM, and if we go to our activities module, there it is, and we filter for all calls. Here we can see the 2 calls that I've made today. Now, if we have an inbound call that is missed, the subject will contain the word missed. So what we can easily do is go here to our workflow rules. We can set up a new rule for calls. We can call it missed call workflow. And we can say that on a record action, so when a call gets logged to the system, when it's created, and it matches the condition that the subject contains the word missed, we can do a couple things. We can send an email notification to that to a marketing person that there was a missed call, and we can also assign a task to someone to follow up with that particular lead as well. So a couple of things we can either you can even create a new lead when a missed call happens. If that phone number isn't in the system already, if it is in the system already, we can simply send a notification to the rep that's originally assigned to that particular lead to follow up with them. So using Zoho's workflow rules can very effectively help us make sure that we are on top of all of those missed calls and either creating leads for new callers or making sure that the reps are aware of the missed calls if they've already been assigned to a particular rep. In those email notifications to the reps, what we can do is use the mail merge tags to actually pull in relevant details from the CRM. Now, Kugu's platform takes it a step further that actually allows us to embed the recording URL. So if someone left a voice message, we can actually make that voice message available directly in the email that has been sent to the agent, and making it just that much easier for the agent to quickly pick up where that conversation left off, or where we had missed getting in contact with that lead. Now, if they don't want to listen to their voice message out of the email, all voice messages are also logged here in the CRM. If I'd let this call go through, there'd be a little play button here underneath the call details that would record that conversation if you have that option selected, and you'll be able to listen to all all recorded calls as well as voicemails directly out of the CRM. So once again, you're not having to leave the platform. So as far as mobility is concerned, there are a few different ways that we can make sure that agents have every option available to them. Kugu has a soft phone available, so you can make calls off of your laptop or desktop. We can also forward those calls to a mobile device if agents are out of the office, so that they can take those calls on their phone. In any case, the calls are logged in the CRM. So this makes it very easy for managers to make sure that they are able to keep track of their sales reps' call activity, benchmarking those performance results accurately. Because the last thing you want is to have your sales reps bogged down with data entry at the end of the day if they've had a long day out in the field. So making sure that all of that activity is logged for them, or if they miss calls, if they can follow up appropriately, even while out of the office, is very important. Now, taking a look at broadcasting voice and text messages to your contact list. As I showed earlier, you can actually not only push leads and contacts to an auto dialer where you can run through a list, we can actually broadcast a message to those folks as well. So there may be a few use cases where you don't want your agents to actually get online live with a particular customer, but you want to give them an announcement. Maybe it's your holiday hours, or a Christmas well-wishing, or a reminder about a invoice that may be due. All of these can be configured through views in the CRM. So much the same workflow that we used earlier, where we created a unique view for those leads that had clicked on an email campaign. We can do the same thing with, maybe it's a list of folks that are in Arizona, and we want to send them an alert about something that's going on in Arizona. We can go ahead and create that view, select all the leads in that view, and now instead of pushing them to the auto dialer campaign, we can have another button here for the IVR blast. Now this is going to add that particular lead to that IVR blast list. And if we go here into the admin section, we can see that we have the IVR blast set up. And in this case, it's been completed, but we can see the few numbers that were part of that blast in this particular demo list. So this is a really effective way to quickly broadcast an announcement to a large group of folks, ask them for a particular call to action, and we can actually automate that by allowing them to push a button and then have that immediately dial into the inbound line for a agent to be ready to take that inbound call. So this is a very effective strategy to utilize our filtering data in CRM to create unique lists. We can then push that to an IVR campaign, blast out a message, prompt them to push a button or dial in to get connected with an agent, and now we're able to facilitate more inbound or re-engaged leads than before. Now, a very similar workflow can be used for text messaging as well as IVR blasts. Now, there may be a need for blasting out a group text message, or even just sending a text message one-off to a contact that is in your CRM. Now, we can actually do this all through Cuckoo's platform, along with a add-on that Catalyst Group has developed to integrate text messaging with Zoho CRM and Cuckoo's platform as well. So the way that this works is with this add-on, you can see that we have a tab down here for related list of text messages. Now, if you want to text message someone, you can click on this Chrome extension. It will default to the contact or lead record that you're on. And here you can have a contextual conversation with this particular contact record. And this will also show up here in the CRM. So you'll have a full track record, not only of your voice conversations, but your text conversations as well. Now, if you want to send out a group text message to a lot of folks, then you can go here to the same extension. You can click on groups, and if you've tagged this contact to a select group, you can see here that we have a few examples. We can select one of those and then blast out a text message to that full group. So between these two solutions, we can effectively follow up with someone with quick click-to-call campaigns. We can do an auto dialer campaign to get through a list quickly. We can do an IVR blast to broadcast a message to a group. And we can also send either individual or group text messages to those folks as well. Now, increasingly, we're finding that folks are needing to get involved with leads on the web through the website. And what we're doing there is having a little chat bot, and we're often engaging in conversations via chat. This is great for some simple interactions, but oftentimes you'll need to take that a step further, and you may have a more involved question, and it becomes really frustrating as a customer to have to try and type out a massive paragraph to explain your unique situation. Cuckoo has developed a fantastic online chat tool that combines both chat and voice. So you can seamlessly switch between chat and voice within the same chat widget on your website. This makes it incredibly efficient to engage with folks, both chat and voice, where obviously sometimes one is better than the other, especially if you're in different regions and it's difficult to understand accents, or as I said, if you have a longer paragraph that you would otherwise hate to type out, you can simply switch over to voice and resume the conversation via voice. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, folks, on this webinar. We really look forward to scheduling a one-on-one to follow up with your unique use cases and dive into some more advanced or unique features that we're able to customize with Cuckoo and Zoho CRM. Please feel free to reach out to us at info@catalystconnect.com or give us a call at 1-520-447-3737, or just visit us on the web at catalystconnect.com. Thanks a lot, and we are available to take any questions.
Hi all, Prashant here from Ozunte. Some interesting questions in the questions box. Uh, do we store the recording links within Zoho? Yes, the recording links are auto-stored with this integration. So you can hear the audio recordings of previous conversations from Zoho. Somebody asked about can the same Zoho user, same phone system be used by multiple users? Yes, with our integration, you can map our agent IDs with the Zoho user IDs. So the phone number can be used by multiple users. But the catch here is at the same time, only one agent or Zoho user can use the phone. There's a question about do you provide voicemail and audio file conversation transcriptions? We do that as an add-on. It's not part of the standard integration. And yeah, we do that though. Another question, is it possible to track incoming calls? Yes, as part of the standard integration we have done with Zoho CRM, all incoming calls are tracked, and you have a choice of whether you want to store it as a lead or do you want to store it as a contact within the Zoho CRM system. And if in case you're using Zoho support, you can actually store the calls as a ticketing system as well. Is texting a part of Zoho integration or is it a separate app? Texting is part of the Zoho integration. We have given a webhook which Catalyst has integrated within Zoho. Of course, it doesn't come as a standard phone bridge integration, but yeah, it can be done. Where can I get the pricing? You can touch base with us offline at our mail IDs to get the pricing. You can track the calls on the iPhone using your Zoho app. So within the app, you can actually see all the new records which are created. So one common question which I see is where can I get the call recording for later viewing? It is stored as part of the activities against the lead. So you can actually look at the recordings there. Okay, tracking incoming calls on an iPhone. That happens through the Zoho app. You can use that app. Also, we can provide you email or text alerts for any incoming calls which are not answered by the business. So that's another add-on which we can provide. Uh, Another interesting question: when the call receiver disconnects or when the call doesn't go through, does the call window auto close? No, the call window doesn't auto close. The reason we don't do that is you might want to dispose for that connect activity which is the agent has gone through. So we do not close it. Uh, is the call recording part of Zoho or is it part of an integration with Cuckoo? It is part of an integration with Cuckoo. It doesn't come by default with Zoho. So you'll need a telephony partner integration for that. So what we have shown here is an integration with the Cuckoo platform. So somebody asked for where can they find the pricing for this telephony product. You can find it on getcuckoo.com website. You can go there online and look at the pricing there. Calls to DND numbers. Uh, basically, if we have a DND registry, so if you do not want to call those numbers, we can do an auto filter against the registry. So will this webinar be available to view again later? Yeah, I believe so. Janu, you are a better person to answer this. I think you'll be mailing the link to webinar to all the registered users, right?
Yes, that's right. We will be sending both the slides and the webinar recording in a couple of days.
Okay.
Right, so let's wrap this up. Any final questions?
Can calls and texts be retroactively put into Zoho? No, you cannot. They can be put into Zoho only after the integration is done with the telephony system. So anything you have done before the integration, that cannot be stored. Can we have the phone recording stored in a deal, not a contact? Yeah, you can do that. As part of the standard integration, we are storing it as part of a lead or contact, but yeah, it can be done though. Mentioned webhooks for SMS, are they sent through a 6-digit custom sender ID or will it be some generic unknown number? It will be through a generic unknown number. It's not through a custom 6-digit sender ID. I think this is a very India specific question. We can get in touch later to discuss India specific questions. Is IVR Blast a part of Cuckoo and in which plan? IVR Blast, yes, it is part of the Cuckoo platform. You can access it as part of the Pro Plus plan, which is given online.
Okay, so I guess we'll wrap this up. And if you have any further questions, you can always tweet to us at Zoho CRM. So thanks, Prashant. And thank you, John, for that great workflow demonstration. Integrating telephony with Zoho CRM is a crucial step towards better sales follow-ups and automation. And I'm sure our audience would have realized that by now. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. And please don't forget to send us your feedback. You can either tweet to Zoho CRM or use the hashtag Zoho CRM while posting your thoughts on social media. We hope to hear from you soon. Also, we'll be sending out a recording of this webinar in a couple of days so you can catch up on things that you missed. Thank you and have a great day.